What's New starts right now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Wow, 50 years doing anything. That is to be celebrated, and I'm looking forward to doing that later in the show. Bibb is a Cleveland and a broadcast institution. What an incredible career. And with that, we say hello again and welcome to another edition of What's New. This is incredible. This is the final Monday of October.
That's it.
It's just gone. I don't know how that's possible, but thank you so much for spending time with us. Betsy is off today. Jasmine Monroe is in her place. Jasmine, a very good Monday afternoon to you. It's lovely to have you in. We're looking forward to doing the show with you. And a very good Monday afternoon to everyone watching at home.
I'm glad to be here. Can I stay awake the whole show?
That is the big question. I was just asking her normally on her morning shift. She wakes up for work at 1 a.m.
Yes.
So normally by now you're eating and just getting ready to go sleep.
And I'm watching my favorite show, What's New.
Wow, that's awesome. What a compliment. We hope to keep you awake for the next hour. That's our goal. Well, we begin today at 5 with new information about a carbon monoxide leak that sent 5 people to the hospital. This happened yesterday at an ice hockey facility in Geauga County. Brandon Simmons is there live with more details on this story. Brandon, what can you tell us?
Yeah, hi, Jay. This is a very scary situation that happened yesterday, that carbon monoxide incident happening right behind us at this ice skating facility called The Pond. And as you said, 150 people had to be evacuated because of this carbon monoxide incident. Now, initially, firefighters responded around 12:30 in the afternoon after a 7-year-old fell and hit his head. Now, he was taken to the hospital, and when they ran tests, they found out he had very high levels of carbon monoxide in his system. Now, the hospital called the fire department back, who returned here to the facility, and that's when they used meters and found out that CO levels were much higher than normal, and they quickly evacuated everyone. Auburn's Assistant Fire Chief Mike Carterman says he's more than thankful that this incident didn't end with a tragedy.
All the years I've been in this, tragedies over carbon monoxide. It's colorless, odorless, and it creeps up and it does its own thing, okay? And if not treated quickly, it's deadly.
Now, the fire department is working with the gas company and the owners to determine what caused the levels to rise the way they did. Dominion Energy was out here and they did red flag one appliance, but so far they haven't been able to pinpoint the exact source. And until they do, the building will stay closed. Now, the owners of the building released a statement on their website saying that the safety of every guest is, of course, of the utmost importance, and they're going to cooperate with investigators as they work to find out exactly what happened, Jay.
Incredible story. Brandon Simmons live tonight. Brandon, you know how high levels were when this happened? Because, put into perspective where they were in contrast to where it begins to be very dangerous.
Yeah, so levels here right now were 400 parts per million. Now, just to put that in perspective, as you said, they should be closer to 9 or lower. So we're looking at 40 times what would have been the safe level inside. And this really just underscores the importance of having CO detectors. We don't know for sure whether or not this facility had them just yet. That's part of the investigation, but you should make sure you have them inside your home, garage, anywhere where it could be dangerous.
Well, luckily they found out in time to get everyone out. Brandon Simmons live. Thank you, Brandon. We appreciate it.
And now to your feed at 5, the Ohio Department of Health updated the COVID-19 quarantine guidance for schools aimed at keeping students in the classroom. Now, with masks to stay, students and staff who are exposed to the virus do not need to quarantine at home as long as they wear a mask for 14 days, monitor for symptoms, and get tested if they develop symptoms. Now, as for school activities, students will need to wear a mask before they're able and can get tested. If quarantined, they are negative between days 5 and 7. The state says while quarantine is essential to fighting COVID-19, students need to be in school.
But out-of-school quarantine has the unintended consequence of reducing in-school learning and can place added strains on our students, our parents, schools, and our local health departments.
Schools are not required to adopt the new policy. This does not impact students who are already consistently wearing masks in school and those who are fully vaccinated, as they are already allowed to stay in the classroom after exposure.
Well, that news comes as Moderna says its low-dose COVID vaccine is safe for kids 6 to 11. The kids were given half the dose adults received.
Our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, joins us now. Monica, what did the study show?
Oh, good news. That's what's really important. So Moderna says its vaccine for kids age 6 through 11 showed a robust immune response. So the company says they're going to submit their data to the FDA soon, but gave no definitive date. Now, their study of more than 4,500 kids used the 2-dose vaccine regimen, but the dosage was half of what teens and adults get. They say the majority of the adverse events were mild to moderate, and the most common side effects were fatigue, headache, fever, and injection site pain. So that's pretty much the same thing as adults. Now, remember, though, Moderna is still behind Pfizer on this. The FDA and CDC still have not signed off on their vaccine for kids 12 to 17, and Johnson & Johnson likely won't have anything for kids until probably sometime next year.
All right, as for Pfizer, we think that approval for kids could be coming any day now, right?
Yeah, it could be, absolutely. So tomorrow, the FDA advisory panel is going to meet to discuss Pfizer's vaccine regimen for kids age 5 to 11. Now, there is a chance their decision could come down late tomorrow, but that's just the first step. That decision is a recommendation for or against, and then the FDA will have to make an official decision. But usually they follow the panel's suggestions. Then next week, the CDC panel will meet in a similar process. So if this gets signed off, the earliest it's going to happen is mid to late next week. And obviously the Biden administration thinks it's very likely it will, because they've already bought the kid doses for the Pfizer vaccine.
They're ready to go. And the good news is it would get them some level of immunity before we get into our holiday season, which is a big concern.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, that CO story really got to me. And I think it's really important, considering we're going into the holidays and going into the winter. I turn my heat on. Everybody, if you don't have a CO detector, please get one, or at least make sure yours is in working order.
Particularly important when you fire up that furnace for the first time.
Absolutely.
Monica, thanks.
Sure.
Well, it is Money Monday here on What's New. And if you're looking for a seasonal job, you may want to consider the United States Postal Service. The nation's mail system is adding, get this, 40,000 seasonal workers nationwide. What a number. It's also adding 45 new facilities along with 112 new mail sorting machines, all of this in an effort to keep things moving this holiday season. The USPS will handle 50 million packages every day. That's a 35% increase from the numbers they did last year. And Amazon is also hiring, their numbers even bigger, 150,000 workers, including sign-on bonuses of up to $3,000. FedEx and UPS are also hiring thousands of seasonal workers.
Just ready to get those packages out as soon as possible. All right, this is an interesting one. There is a $5 million class action lawsuit against Kellogg's. The reason: a woman in the Southern District of Illinois argues that the company misled consumers with how it promoted Pop-Tarts with strawberry filling. Now, she claims it gave an impression that the fruit filling contained, quote, a greater relative and absolute amount of strawberries than it does, end quote. The nutritional label says that the pastry contains 2% or less of dried strawberries, pears, apple, and red 40. In the lawsuit, the woman says she would not have bought the Pop-Tarts if she knew the truth.
I'm going to classify that under frivolous lawsuit. What do you think about that?
Okay, so we were just talking to our producer, Monique, and I was saying, listen, when I was in college, I don't eat beef and I don't eat pork, and I learned that Pop-Tarts have beef in it because it's gelatin.
Wow.
So I had no idea that, you know, the marshmallows, that's all gelatin, and it's a form of beef. So just knowing that, I stopped eating Pop-Tarts. But now hearing this, you know, did you really think strawberries were in Pop-Tarts?
Yeah, I think the average consumer probably understands that there's something else going on there other than real strawberries, but you never know, and we can be a litigious society, and I think this is more proof of that.
Yeah, I'm going to go buy Pop-Tarts for that. I feel bad for them.
Well, you know what it did for me is make me hungry for Pop-Tarts.
It did.
So I think it's probably had the adverse effect. Okay, next on What's New, a snapshot in time. I sit down with a rock and roll photographer to talk about her new book on Brue Springsteen and his deep connection to our city.
Plus, remembering a friend, the man who played Gunther on the sitcom Friends passed away this weekend. More on how he is being honored in your Pop Break. Matt, what's coming up in the forecast?
Well, Jasmine, it's a good night to have a hot glass of some Red 40 as you're just enjoying your Pop-Tarts. Oh, it goes down smooth every time. You know what else goes down smooth? Our forecast, at least over the next hour or so, if you're out towards the east, we're dry as of now. East of Cleveland, we do have some scattered downpours moving in. Those will move in area-wide this evening. Temps back through the 50s. We've got a forecast that includes several big storm systems. We'll take you through it next.
Welcome back to What's New. The click of a camera freezes a moment in time. It really does. And for those of you who find pictures as fascinating as I do, this is for you. Jasmine, I had a chance recently to sit down with an iconic rock and roll photographer. Her name is Janet McCoskey. She has a new book out entitled Brue Springsteen, Live from the Heartland. And this book chronicles, mostly through Janet's images, his many live shows here in Northeast Ohio and the mutual love affair between Bruce and the people of Cleveland.
For many, Bruce Springsteen is the poster boy of rock and roll over the last 50 years. He's famously from New Jersey, but if Hollywood were to write his story, he could easily have been from Cleveland.
We are that much of him, and he is that much of us.
Janet McCoskey has shot thousands of rock and roll shows. She's captured well over 1 million images. But her first show was Bruce's first trip to Cleveland, February 1974, the Allen Theater in Playhouse Square. Capacity 3,000. It was not a full house. Bruce wasn't even the headliner. But that night, he stole the show.
So I'm there, and this little scraggly guy comes in. It looks kind of like a beatnik. I mean, he's very young Bruce, but he has Clarence with him. He gets that audience who has no idea who he is and grabs them. And that very moment, he's got Cleveland in the palm of his hands. After 45 minutes, he gets a standing ovation, and it's like, okay, I really like this place. And Cleveland, who was here for a British band, see this guy and they love him.
careers were born on that cold night in 1974. Janet would blossom into one of the most notable rock and roll photographers of the last 50 years. Bruce on his way to becoming the boss. He's played 36 shows in Northeast Ohio. Janet has captured a dozen on film and now shares her favorite images in the new book. From Richfield Coliseum to Municipal Stadium and Quicken Loans Arena, Janet's lens was sharply focused on Bruce, freezing forever that youthful exuberance, the passion and the energy, and documenting the unique love affair between a rock and roll star and a rock and roll city.
Rock and roll is like sports to the blue-collar city that we were, and that's what young people wanted at the end of the day. They wanted rock and roll. That's how they let loose, you know, beer and rock and roll. He was singing songs with themes that spoke to them. He was just like them.
In 1985, Bruce was at the height of his popularity. He played in front of 71,000 fans at Municipal Stadium, our old ballpark. It was jam-packed. The fans in the background of this shot in black and white. Bruce in the foreground, bigger than life, and in living color.
Municipal Stadium, it's like a cathedral for Clevelanders, for baseball, for football, for rock and roll. And I turn around and I look at all the sea of people and I'm thinking every pair of eyes is going to be on this guy the minute he comes out. Yes, he was my subject, but they were more my subject. They were the story. They were the ones who were sending out, you know, this earthquake of energy towards him, and he was there to receive it and to send it back out.
That's my favorite picture. By the way, Janet is just an incredible person and so talented. The text in the book was written by Peter Chakarian, and it's amazing the detail. He researched and got the set list of every show he's played that was featured in the book. And Janet, I love this photo so much. And I told her this was my favorite one. She was kind enough to sign it, the print, and send it over to me. Janet, thank you very much. It's soon going in a frame, and I'll cherish it. She's only met Bruce one time.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did she ever meet him? But she has over 300,000 photos of him.
So many images. She met him once. She said he was very quiet, as she expected. She did the project because during COVID, there were no shows.
Wow.
So an agent reached out to her and said, do you have photos of one artist that you'd like to feature? And that led to the book. It's fabulous. Any rock and roll fan, or particularly Bruce fans, check it out. It's really, really cool.
All right.
Very cool. Okay, it's time for weather, and Matt, your weather word today is boss. See what I did there?
That makes sense. I actually saw this one coming.
Yeah, that was easy.
It was also in the prompter a little ahead of time, so that's okay. For certain, we'll get that in, guys. We've got a live shot, CSU cam right now, of the apocalypse moving into Cleveland, so we're going to move the newscast down into the basement as these lowering skies come in. Boy, this was the look much of our Sunday. I felt bad for all those out-of-towners coming in for the Cleveland Marathon. You know, the weather didn't really produce in the afternoon on Sunday. For all those that stuck around, morning was good, but we're back into kind of the gray skies and the clouds. Here's the big picture. I want to start there. Area low pressure moving in. You see the swirl there on the satellite and the radar. We've got a line of some downpours to get through. We're going to keep our eye on it. It's kind of a similar setup to what we dealt with last week. I don't think we have as much instability. We don't have the jet stream right above us. It's actually further south with this one, but just a little squirrely setup here over the next couple hours. We're watching some of these downpours. Nothing to be concerned of right now. Just some heavier rain moving in, and the downpours now moving into areas just near northwest of Strongsville, heading into Berea there shortly. You can see Richfield getting a decent downpour now, moving out towards the Sagamore Hills area. We've got heavier rain back in areas of Huron County near Wakeman. That will continue up into Lorain County here shortly, and then down to the south, decent downpours from Ashland stretching into the Worcester area out towards Smithville here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Bigger picture, though, we've got a cold front. Things markedly different on the backside of this. Again, couple hours here, we'll have to watch for a very slim, severe weather threat as we go over the next probably 3 or 4 hours, then we're done with it. But you see the wind. They've had 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, 10 to 15 foot waves on Lake Michigan on the backside of this. You notice where we're warm. Yeah, it's 60s. That's enough to produce some instability, but back towards the west, no severe threat for you. We're in the 50s. Temperatures will slide down as we go throughout the evening. You can see the rain returning. Temps in the 50s. We'll get back into the 40s tonight. Your National Design Mart hour by our forecast brings that pinwheeling system through here with showers. Tomorrow, kind kind of a raw day. We'll have some clouds. There will be some sun peaks to get away from the lake. This is lake effect rain. Models picking up on a decent fetch of rain, maybe in downtown out towards the east. But we're going to have some lake effect rain tomorrow. Temperature is going to struggle to get out of the low 50s. Again, kind of a raw day. Out towards the west, this system's like a boss moving into the west coast. You can see that huge system's going to continue to head off towards the east. And then Wednesday, Thursday, that's when we start to deal with. So it'll be an elongated area low pressure that will spiral its way eastern half of the country, bringing us more days of rain later this week. As you see here in your Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast, temperatures on the up. I think we get a dry day Wednesday. Rain returns late Thursday. Friday looks rainy for all the trick-or-treaters this weekend. Saturday night kind of in question right now. Sunday night looks great for Halloween itself. Temperatures in the 50s throughout the duration of the forecast. Jasmine.
All right. Thanks, Matt. From the concert venues to the comedy stage, the Jonas Brothers are coming together to make you laugh at home. A look at their newest venture in Pop Break. We'll be right back.
I do, Brooke. How are you? Good.
It's time now to take a pop break with Kiera Cotton.
Kiera, happy Monday to you. It's been a rough couple of days for the entertainment world.
Absolutely. We can't seem to catch a break. The entertainment industry is again mourning the loss of another star. James Michael Tyler passed away yesterday morning after a battle with cancer. He was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer back in 2018, but had only been public with his illness since mid-June. Tyler was most widely known for his role as Gunther on the NBC sitcom Friends. James Michael Tyler was 59 years old. And we're continuing to learn more about the fatal shooting that took place on a movie set in New Mexico last week. 42-year-old Helena Hutchins was killed when she was struck by a prop gun that was fired by actor Alec Baldwin. Baldwin was allegedly unaware that the gun contained a live round that was missed by additional checks, according to reports. The Emmy Award-winning actor was practicing drawing the gun from his holster when it fired. According to reports, the gun was used recreationally by crew members for target practice off-site prior to the incident. Production on the movie set has been paused indefinitely, and we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more about this story. Switching gears now, SOS. This next story will have you burning up. The Jonas Brothers are hoping to bring the funny to Netflix. The three brothers, Nick, Joe, and Kevin, will star in a new one-hour comedy special for the streaming giant titled Jonas Brothers Family Roast. Hosted by Kenan Thompson, the brothers, through sketches, songs, games, and special guests, will share their best digs at their siblings for all of us to watch. Jonas Brothers Family Roast will premiere on Netflix November 23rd. You know, Jay and Jasmine, only family can get under your skin. So I know that this will make for fantastic television.
That's right. Brothers roasting each other, even, you know, me and my brother and sister, when we get into it, it's real.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is real and it's nonstop. And roasts are fun for everyone except for those getting roasted.
Roasted, of
that
course.
can get a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
This family knows how to have a good time.
They do.
Looking
and they're
forward
funny.
to it.
They're very talented. They really are. Keith, thanks. Sure thing. Appreciate it. Well, right now it's time for our Worth the Watch, and this is totally awesome. Check out this live shot from a local reporter. This happened at an NBC station in Detroit, doing a story on, of course, a skate park there.
Basically show them exactly what to do. As far as Chandler's skate park, they'll be done in about the next 10 days or so. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Victor, you...
Okay, that is just way too smooth. So, Victor, you easily win the award for coolest news reporter. I'm not even sure it's close. Secondly, yes, he's been doing this most of his life. In fact, I went to his Twitter bio, Jasmine, where he calls himself a reporter and skateboarder. So it's even on his Twitter bio, and it was retweeted by the famous skateboarder, maybe the most famous skateboarder ever, Tony Hawk, where he added all the news that's fit to shred.
What more do you need besides Tony Hawk retweeting you and putting that blue check verified saying how good you are as a skateboarder?
And of course, his profile blew up after that because it got a lot of national attention. Now, Matt Wentz saw this earlier today, and he said, so tomorrow when he does the weather, he's going to shred a little in studio on his skateboard.
Will he really,
We can look forward to that. Yeah, Matt, I'm told, is a wicked skateboarder. Right, Matt?
We saw you run.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way, to our Matt Wentz on a terrific time in this weekend's half marathon. He's humble and he's waving me off, but he ran a terrific race. Congrats. We had 3 members of our Channel 3 staff complete the marathon, so congrats to all. Still ahead at 5:30, the Facebook papers. More critical findings about the social media site are now being revealed. We're going to tell you the very latest content that's being uncovered.
Then, what is America's favorite Halloween candy? The answer is surprising. We'll reveal the fan favorite and Mike Polk Jr.'s thoughts on that coming up next.
Hey, how we sounding there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, baby. Say you love me. Good.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Caught up on 3 things you need to know here at 5:30. The Ohio Department of Health updated its COVID-19 quarantine policies for schools. They want to keep kids in the classroom. That is their #1 priority. So they are recommending a mask to stay option, which allows students and staff who are exposed to the virus to be able to stay in school as long as they wear a mask for 14 days, monitor symptoms, and get tested if they develop any. When it comes to after-school activities, students will need to wear a mask when they can. They can test out of quarantine between days 5 and 7. Schools are not required to adopt the new policy.
And we have new details in the carbon monoxide leak that sent 5 people to the hospital. Everyone who was taken to the hospital is expected to be okay, according to the assistant fire chief in Auburn. They have found high levels of it when they arrived and evacuated 150 visitors. They are still investigating the cause. The levels inside reach 400 parts per million. One fire inspector said that the level should have been at 9 parts per million on the lower end.
Well, today, members of Parliament in London questioned former Facebook employee turned whistleblower Frances Haugen. This comes after her testimony on Capitol Hill. She's urging lawmakers to investigate and regulate the company when necessary. She provided thousands of internal documents and research to Congress, media outlets, and the Securities and Exchange Commission. The documents show the company tracked misinformation and posts inciting violence and chose not to take measures to stop it. Posts leading up to the January 6th riots and misleading content about COVID are specifically being called into question. The company has admitted it isn't perfect, but says it is working on safety and security. And with that, we welcome you into the second half hour of What's New. Betsy is off today. Jasmine is in her place. Thanks so much for spending time with us. It's great to have you here.
You're welcome. It's been fun so far.
We're going to talk candy.
Okay.
So I'm very excited about that.
There's only one way to do a show, and that's with food.
I think you're right.
Right?
Yeah, we're going to get along just fine.
Now to our top talker, the countdown to candy overload is on with Halloween this weekend. Of course, there are a survey with America's favorite candy, Jay.
Yeah, I love these because for some reason they always have the same candies in the top 3, but I see them mixed up depending on the survey. The findings from Retail Me Not caught the eye of many of our coworkers, especially, as you can imagine, Mike Polk Jr.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Mike, what do you have for us? It looks like you have candy for us.
And do we have to say trick or treat?
Oh, yeah. No, none of you have to. This is a subject that's dear to a lot to my heart, and I know a lot of Ohioans.
It is.
And these are the top 3 candies. You said it, Jay. Sometimes they get mixed around, but normally you got your big 3, you know?
Right.
So before I reveal them, though, what do you think the number 1, 2, and 3 candies are?
We were talking.
Go ahead. Give me a guess.
Give us our consensus. What did we come up with?
So we came up with Reese's, right? Kit Kat, and M&M's.
And that's your order?
I say Reese's number 1 because Reese's is always, it seems like they always win these bowls.
Okay. And plus it's the best.
Yeah.
So that's
the
another
best.
reason.
It's hard to beat a Reese's.
So you're calling Reese's here. You're calling Kit Kat here, or wait, no.
Let's go M&M's, or do you want Kit Kat?
Well, we got to think about it.
I just got to tell you, this couldn't possibly matter less.
Yeah, I know.
Couldn't matter less.
Let's go M&M's and Kit Kat.
Okay.
All right.
It seems
so
like
here's
the bowl.
here's the
We see
reveal.
the bowl.
Number 3 is the Kit Kat.
Oh, we got that one right.
Yes.
Okay,
number
good.
2. Let me make sure that's real. It is. Number 2. Reese's
wow.
I knew
Reese's
that.
is number 2.
And number
Thank
1,
you, Jasmine.
You should have guessed because they're in a bowl, you guys.
Yeah.
It's the only bowl-shaped one, and it is M&M's.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me that M&M's are better than Reese's peanut butter cups?
I am by no means
Are you
saying
Retail Me Not?
that. I am by no means saying that, okay?
Is Retail Me Not the one that hates Cleveland?
Yeah.
I'm speaking.
No, that's Wallet Hub.
That's Wallet Hub.
They all hate us. We're
Not
the
anymore.
worst, poorest. We have the most ghosts. Just anything they can name, throw at us. Doesn't matter. It's another.
If it's bad, it's Cleveland, they say.
Scientific survey in which they probably spoke to like 4 people on the phone
Yeah,
who
that's
still have
what I want to
landlines.
know. I want to know how many people you talk to.
And we found out that M&M's is number 1. I found that unbelievable myself, and as it goes, actually, I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Oh, roll. When we go to it.
Roll to tape.
Howdy, folks. 'tis the season. When I found out that Ohio's favorite Halloween candy is apparently M&Ms, I'm sure I felt the same way that many of you did. Surprised, chagrined, perhaps a bit melancholy. Don't get me wrong, M&Ms aren't gross or anything, they're fine. I can tell you that I certainly wasn't pulled for this study, but if someone were to ask me which Halloween candies I personally prefer over M&Ms, I guess my response would be most. Reese's Cups, Butterfinger, Snickers, Kit Kat, Nestle Crunch, Twix, Reese's Pieces, Milky Way, Sour Patch Kids, Nerds, Junior Mints, 100 Grands, and York Peppermint Patties, just to name a few. And this seems like a good time to use this platform for good, to advocate against some of the worst candies that inconsiderate people hand out to innocent kids on Halloween. So let it be known that, moving forward, the following treats are banned. No more Mallow Cups, Circus Peanuts, Boston Baked Beans, Necco Wafers, or black licorice. And that includes black licorice in all of its wicked forms, like Black Jacks or Good and Plenty's, where they try to disguise it. We see you. Now, I won't veto candy corn entirely because I know it has its passionate advocates, and I don't need that kind of heat coming at my inbox. But can we agree that candy corn shouldn't be handed to kids on Halloween? It should just sit in a dish on your aunt's coffee table so that those who wish to indulge can do so, but it's not forced upon anyone against their will. Good deal? Also banned, white chocolate, no. Wax lips, wax vampire teeth. Those gross little wax bottles with warm sugar juice in them. In fact, how about we just stop feeding kids wax in general? Seems like a good rule of thumb. Smarties, AKA sugar chalk, banned. Now and laters, never ever. And finally, Tootsie Rolls, invented way back in 1907. Good run, Tootsie Roll, but I think we've made some amazing advancements in candy technology over the last 114 years, and it's time to bow out. Take note, everyone, and enjoy your M&Ms, Ohio, you beautiful weirdos. Happy Halloween, folks. All right, here's a controversial opinion. I actually prefer...
I thought that was candy corn.
Whoa! Does that scare you that much? Wow, that's quite a phobia. I actually prefer the store Reese's cups over the fancy ones you get at fancy chocolatier.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
I do, and I'm sure that's just my really generic American palate. But
maybe
there's something that's just better about those than the big. Yeah, that's me though.
My wife's a big fan. She prefers what I call greasy Reese's.
Oh,
she likes them to have a shiny top.
Do they have? They sell those specifically?
No, it's not a specific brand.
Put them outside
but
for a
when
while.
she opens one and it's a little greasy on top, she gets very excited.
Jackpot.
Yeah, she's like, I got one.
That's a very specific candy.
So do you like the thin Reese's though?
Have you ever I've never had those.
Yeah, those are nice. They're like chips.
You know what? What's not to love?
Yeah.
They're tremendous.
Peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah.
And because they're thin, you think you can eat 10 and you're okay.
Yeah.
But if you do stack 10 up, it's like 4 Reese's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're not further ahead.
Exactly. That sounds like a challenge that I might take you up on.
Get back to us on what you think of the thins.
I will. Thanks for participating.
Go get some candy corn.
Absolutely. I'm all over this. I'm taking this home.
Well, you're going to take a few less M&Ms.
Taking one of these.
All right, still ahead. Do we really need to add Christmas trees to the shortage of the list of shortages? We verify that claim.
Then our very own Leon Bibb is celebrating 50 years in television. That is incredible.
50.
Join us as we take a trip down memory lane with some of his biggest stories. But first, Matt is here with your weather in a jiffy. Hi, Matt.
Yeah, hey guys, looks like there's a shortage of chocolate at your table now after what you've got going on. Not complaining, that's right. I can stretch if you need me to stretch. In terms of our jiffy of the day, this is what we felt like if we went outside yesterday afternoon with Mother Nature, and that is going to continue this week. Unfortunately, the fire hose is on, everybody. I've got your forecast the next 10 days coming up.
I do. My IFB is all static and I don't know why. Hello, welcome to the 5 o'clock happy hour.
Well, Matt, if it's not raining M&Ms, I don't want to see it.
Yep. You and me both. Jasmine, you got a little just right here.
Is it right here?
Yeah,
That's
I think
okay.
It's a Kit Kat.
I'll eat more.
Very good. That's how I solve problems too. You guys enjoy yourself over there. If you need anything to drink or anything like that, just let me know. I'd be happy to mosey on over to the water fountain. Temperatures right now warmer out towards the east. We're in the 60s, feeling pretty nice. I was going to say like a spring-like afternoon. We haven't quite gotten through winter yet. Out towards the west, notice temperatures have taken a dip. That's behind the front. We've got a markedly different air mass that's moving in tonight. You're going to notice it tomorrow. It's going to be on the chilly side. 60s over the next couple hours. Notice the raindrops. Also notice the little wind there. It's been called now because the center of low pressure is right over us. Remember, the wind flows around the low. Once we get on the backside of those, winds are going to pick up. We've got a pretty gusty wind that's going to take stage tomorrow morning and much of the day tomorrow. So here's our low pressure, little line of some showers, heavier downpours getting going now. Severe weather threat is very limited, especially down towards the south and east. We'll keep an eye on it. I think the better chance is going to be out towards Virginia and then downstate just outside our viewing area. But you can see the heavier downpours we have now moving into Geauga County, getting ready to spread into Geauga and Lake County. Decent downpour right over Boston Heights, Route 8 right now, probably a mess on the northern side of that. With the rush hour ongoing, you see the heavy rain setting up from downtown out towards the Lakewood area, Bay Village, Rocky River, Westlake getting some decent downpours now, and a pretty good slug of rain moving through Wellington up towards the Oberlin area, Lorain County, going to be in the rain over the next hour or so, and it should be coming down pretty good. Wayne County getting a good dousing as well as that continues to push north and east. So here's the big picture. You can see the area low pressure. Once this moves by, we've got much cooler air funneling in behind it. Gusty winds as well. We'll kick up that lake tomorrow. A small craft advisory out. Not that we're all planning on boating, but 6 to 8 footers on the lake tomorrow. That is a sign of fall. Your National Design Mart hour by hour forecast. You can see how it rotates over northeast Ohio tonight. Tomorrow morning, we're on the back side of that. When you have the cooler air spilling over our 4 to 5 degree above average lake water, we're likely going to kick off some lake effect showers. Could be heavy at times across the lakeshore areas. Just kind of a raw day tomorrow. Temperature's going to stay right near 50 degrees. We'll recover a little bit on Friday. The bigger picture across the country, they got blasted out west. Huge storm system, almost a record low pressure. That will head out in the plains later this week. We'll dry out Wednesday. Thursday looks good to start, but this low pressure, watch how it kind of unravels across eastern half of the country. It will sit and spin, bringing rainfall around here as it looks Friday and Saturday. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. Hopefully we can clear things out for your trick or treat. If it's Saturday night, some of you are doing that. There's still risk of showers, but Sunday looks good at this point. I think we'll be up near 60, partly cloudy skies, and then our next system next week. Guys, looking at long-term forecasts, I do see perhaps our first freeze of the year, and maybe some of that stuff November 2nd and 3rd. We're going to keep an eye on that time frame, so we still have some time.
I'll try to hold that S word out as long as you can.
I am.
Thanks, Matt. All right, right now, time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, hope you had a great weekend. Happy Monday to you.
Thank you, Jay. I hope you did too. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everyone at home. I am very excited to share this first story with you because this looks like a very good time. Winter Riverfest is coming back to Rivergate Park and Merwin's Wharf for the holidays. Now, this is a lovely outdoor experience right along the Cuyahoga River in the Flats, with holiday decorations, and this year there is a brand new ice skating rink. So you can get your ice skate on, and you can also dine outdoors in one of their igloos. Those are adorable. Look how cute this is. The fest is open 7 days a week, starting November 26th through January 2nd. The hours do vary. The longest days are on Saturdays and Sundays from noon to 9:30 p.m. And you can also cozy up to a fire pit in the beer garden, so you don't even have to bundle up that much. You can stay warm right there. Sign me up for that. Okay, speaking of the holiday season, Christmas trees have something in common with cars and toilet paper this year. They are in short supply, and it is not just real Christmas trees, it is fake ones too, but for different reasons. And it's not just in Ohio, it is all across the country. The American Christmas Tree Association tells our Verify team that real trees are scarce because of fires, a drought, and heat that has made it tough for growers this season. And artificial trees are getting the hit with the same supply chain issues that are impacting all imports right now, like Halloween costumes for one thing.
Oh, is there a shortage of that?
Jasmine?
Mine just got here today, and it took an extra 3 days.
Yes.
Wow.
So,
Which is crucial. The 3 days is crucial.
It
It's
is.
the very last minute.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. So the Christmas Tree Association is saying you need to get your real tree if you want one by Thanksgiving.
Oh,
well, that's
which
rough
is
because
so early.
Yeah, and then it might not last until the holidays are over.
So you'll have a dead Christmas tree for Christmas.
That is exactly what happened to me the last 2 years.
Oh,
when I got
remember that.
Weekend. I know. It was a drama on Instagram. It was terrible.
It was a Charlie Brown Christmas tree. You'll do better this year.
I will.
I hope so. Great to see you, Steph.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next, the man, the myth, and the legend. Leon Bibb is celebrating 50 years. He joins us live as we take a look at some of the greatest hits.
Can't wait for that. Then a surprise reunion. Someone very special showed up to Mentor's football game Friday. That's ahead in our show with Something Good.
Oh, look at that.
Wow. 50 years in television. This week we're honoring the incredible career of Leon Douglas Bibb. He has so many achievements, it'd be impossible to list them all off, but just a couple that are milestones. For starters, the first black primetime anchor in the state of Ohio. And most recently, he was inducted into the Bowling Green State University School of Communications Hall of Fame.
So incredible. Leon also holds the unofficial title of Ohio's greatest storyteller. So we sat down with him to hear just a few of his legendary stories.
So I got a chance to interview James Earl Ray about the MLK assassination, which he denied doing. But this is after he confessed to do it in court, and that's why he was convicted in prison, trying to stay out of the electric chair or the gas chamber. When James Earl Ray walked into the room, something happened that I had not planned on. And I'm ready for the interview. I know I'm going to ask these questions. I'm a young reporter out of Columbus, in my 30s then. And when he walked in and he says, "Are you the man who's going to interview me?" I says, "Yes, I am." He says, "How you doing?" "I'm James Earl Ray." What do you do when he puts his hand out? He does not have to do this interview. So I shook his hand. And now what do I say? I don't say, good to meet you. How are things going? I just say, I'm Leon Bibb. I'm from the Columbus NBC television station. And why don't you have a seat right here? We'll put a microphone on you. That's how I hadn't planned on the introduction. So that one has always stuck with me. It doesn't bother me. It just stuck with me. And I got a call from the White House saying, would you like to interview President Obama? We can make this exclusive to the state of Ohio. We're calling you, they said, because of your reputation. And so I went to the White House and interviewed President Obama in the White House. And that was a kick to spend the day in the White House, interview him there. I think that President Obama had done research on me, or his staff had done research on me. He certainly knew my reputation, whatever that is. And I knew his reputation. And he says, so you're from Cleveland? I says, I'm from Cleveland. And he says, are you guys over LeBron James going to Miami? LeBron was in Miami at that time. I said, Mr. President, we're struggling about that. He says, well, I think he may come back one day, but I think he's going to take the Heat, Miami Heat, to a championship. And I says, yeah, I hope so, Mr. President. And we just kind of looked at each other for a while and smiled. I got a phone call from a woman at a convenience store. And she said children were coming in buying candy at the convenience store and they were using $50. In the community, noticed that the workers were loading up their buckets with something and dumping it into the trunks of their cars and then going back for more. And they looked over their shoulders and saw it was money, buckets of money. And when the people said, there's money in the house, everybody ran, the workers ran. But the people went into the house and started digging for it. And there'd been a man who'd lived in there, and he was a miser, didn't trust banks, and apparently stuffed the money in the walls. Well, then he died. Well, then the house train changes hands, and for decades, poor people are living in this house with money in the walls, but they don't know it until they tear the house down. And that's the Ellen Avenue Money House story. It's in my heart, and I think the day that I die, I'll probably report on that too. I hope that's a long way away.
Leon, so do we. What a treasure.
Yes.
What an absolute treasure. Every opportunity I get to spend some time with him in the newsroom, I cherish when he stops by my desk, which he'll do. He'll walk around the newsroom.
He will.
How you doing? And we'll have a chat, and I could sit there and talk to him for hours because it's stories like those.
Yeah.
He told me a story about an old Cleveland Browns jacket that he bought when they were bad. And he left the tag on it, and he had it for years, and he said, I'm not going to wear this until they're good. And he broke it out, and I think he did the story recently.
Okay.
But it was like 20-some-year-old coat. And I can listen to him tell stories for hours.
So I call him the Leon Bibb, okay?
That's great.
The Leon Bibb before I introduce to him because he is one of the co-hosts of the We the People show.
Yeah.
The only thing I could say about Leon is beautiful stories, but if you are about to go on air and you stop and talk to Leon, you might not make it.
Yeah, I know.
He keeps talking and he's going to finish his story. And it's stories like that that you remember for a lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, these stories that we just shared with you all are stories that we hear all the time. And there are so many more stories that he tells you, and just, you know, it's so heartwarming and fulfilling to know that someone loves their city and their state as much as he does.
And I could listen to the man read a phone book.
Yeah.
He's got the best reading voice in the business.
Christmas story is when he reads that. So.
We love you, Leon.
Yes.
We're lucky to have him. Still ahead, this Menor High School football player got quite the surprise during his recent game. Who showed up to cheer him on is ahead, and our show is something good.
And coming up at 6 on What Matters Most, an Ohio State Highway Patrol trooper is being hailed a hero tonight after saving a driver's life on the turnpike. Austin Love has his story coming up.
Hi, check 1, 2, 3. Today's show is Something Good comes from Mentor High School.
To take these 3 months. Yes, I do. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4. With more employees in schools.
Hey, check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How are you? Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brandon's microphone. Still talking about the pond.
Today's show, Tell Us Something Good, comes from Mentor High School. Halftime at this football game was extra special for Ryan Lawson. His brother, Nick, who had been stationed in Japan, surprised him on the field. It's the first time the two had seen each other in over a year.
Wow. Hugs of a brother. That picture tells it all. We're out of time. Back tomorrow at 5, and we invite you to join us then.
All right. Lena Lai is here with what matters most coming up next.
CO scare.
As soon as we hit the front doors here, our meters started spiking.
New information tonight about a carbon monoxide poisoning that sent several people to the hospital in Geauga County. New guidance as the drug companies say they're ready to distribute booster shots to kids. Ohio health departments give schools new guidance for mask wearing and vaccines. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins breaks it all down. The Facebook papers.
And you'll never stop abuse in the online world. You can get better at detecting it and preventing it and curbing it.
Disturbing new allegations from a whistleblower lead to new calls for action to make social media safer. And Baker on the mend. While their star quarterback is healing from a broken shoulder, the Browns move on with a new game plan for the Steelers.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
Good evening. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm Lena Lai. Russ has the night off. Tonight, a developing story in Geauga County. A carbon monoxide scare at an ice rink that sent several people to the hospital over the weekend. And tonight, exclusive body cam video of what firefighters saw as they entered the building and rushed to get people to safety. Brandon Simmons has more now on the investigation.
It was a life-threatening situation in Auburn Township as carbon monoxide filled an ice rink called the Pond while more than 100 people were inside. No one aware of the invisible threat amongst them. The first sign of trouble was when a 7-year-old fell to the ground.
We transported him for evaluation to Geauga Hospital, at which time they eventually found out he had high levels of carbon monoxide in his system.
The hospital alerted the fire department and they immediately returned to the scene to check the building. Instantly, they knew there was a major problem.
As soon as we hit the front doors here, our meters started spiking. So we instantly evacuated everybody out of the building rapidly, and about 150 people.
In total, 5 people were taken to University Hospital's Geauga Medical Center to be treated, 3 taken by ambulance, 2 others by private vehicles. Assistant Fire Chief Mike Carterman was on the scene and says he's more than thankful this incident didn't end in tragedy.
All the years I've been in this, tragedies over carbon monoxide. It's colorless, odorless, and it creeps up and it does its own thing, okay? And if not treated quickly, it's deadly.
This evening, the cause of the problem is still under investigation. Dominion Energy says its employees flagged an appliance inside, but investigators haven't made a final determination just yet. In the meantime, they continue to get small readings of CO in the building, which remains closed. In a statement, the owners of the pond said the health and safety of members and visitors is of the utmost importance. This incident truly underscoring why you should have carbon monoxide detectors in businesses and your home.
Carbon monoxide detectors with a digital readout is, you gotta have them.
Now, fire investigators tell me that a safe level of carbon monoxide should be somewhere around 9 parts per million or lower. In this case, when they showed up here, their meter showed 400 parts per million. And of course, these people who were inside were very lucky to get out alive, Lena.
Wow, that is so scary, Brandon. And to think that they came across this because of a fluke accident with that little boy, too. All right, thanks so much, Brandon. We appreciate it.
Yeah, they were really lucky in this case.
Absolutely. Tonight, a juror hearing the ongoing opioid trial in federal court in Cleveland has been removed after apparently doing her own research on testimony and presenting her findings to other jurors. The woman's actions have led attorneys representing the pharmacies to request a mistrial. The judge has yet to rule on the motion filed by Giant Eagle, Walgreens, and CVS. Lake and Trumbull counties are suing the pharmacies on claims they failed to recognize excessive opioid prescriptions being filled in their counties. Today, the Biden administration introduced plans to make rapid at-home COVID testing more available and affordable. This comes as businesses prepare for the president's mandates that millions of employees get vaccinated or get regular testing. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins is here now to explain it all.
Hey, Lena. Yeah, as more employers and schools and businesses requiring proof you're COVID-free, the White House is working to make millions of at-home rapid tests available at low cost. So the Biden administration is helping streamline the regulatory process, including a $70 million investment from the National Institutes of Health aimed at making it easier for test makers to scale up production. Federal agencies also identifying more manufacturers that can shift to making affordable at-home tests.
They want the instantaneous results that they can get at home. We're trying to ratchet down the price so people don't have to pay $15 for a test. We're trying to get that down into single digits quickly.
Well, all this comes amid pushback to President Biden's impending order requiring all companies with 100 or more workers to mandate COVID vaccines or frequent testing. Doctors say testing will be even more important heading into the holidays. Meanwhile, Moderna says its vaccine for kids ages 6 to 11 showed a robust immune response. So the company says they'll submit their data to the FDA soon, but gave no definitive date.